discipleship to me, if I could share it this way, in my earlier years when I was a kid, I just thought discipleship was coming to church, sitting in a Sunday school class, maybe going into the worship center and have the pastor preach or teach or tell you things that you should know about the Bible. That's what I thought discipleship was. As I began to mature in my faith and spend time with people that were natural disciplers, I understood that discipleship was learning to live my life as a Christian in every element and every facet and every part of my life. That thread of the gospel should run through everything I do, every thought I have.
First, a disciple is continually transformed by the Spirit of God. They have a mind change about the things of God. Secondly, they are continually obedient to the Word of God. They have a heart change about His commands. They love His commands. His commands are not burdensome, and they follow those. And then thirdly, they are continually replicating that Spirit-filled life in others. And that's life change. It's changing the way we live to match the transformed people that we are and share this hope that is within us.
I'm in a transformed state as a child of God, as a child of Christ, and so as He's transforming me and having me to obey Him, He also would have me to spread His word. He's trusting me to do that. And so that is some of the beginning stages of what we're talking about with discipleship.
I oftentimes think about the little Play-Doh extruders. You know, you put the little template on the front and you put a pile of putty in there and you put pressure on the back end and it comes through that extruder and it looks exactly like the shape that's being pressed through. So that transforming is God taking a little lump of clay and put it in there, and He puts on the front of that what He wants it to be. And then as the pressures of life and the things come along and it moves us forward, the Word of God shapes us so that when we come out the other side, we look like what He wants us to look like.
Being a disciple maker is a challenge. It takes discipline. It does indeed call for our obedience in our walk with the Lord. And it calls us to do something that's sometimes scary, and that's reach out to one another, embrace one another, not be afraid to serve one another, and to be vulnerable, actually. That would be a challenge, but one that's so well worth it when someone else can replicate what God has said in their lives and show that to someone else, and it keep going, and the kingdom just build. It's so very well worth it.
So often in church life, discipleship is almost incidental. It's almost ad hoc. We have a lot of good things in our church. We have good preaching and good teaching. We have opportunities to serve, mission trips, these types of things. But they're never really put into a coherent, cohesive kind of roadmap, if you will, from I just got saved to I'm becoming a mature follower of Christ. And so it's almost left to the individual sometimes to try to piece together where I go from here. And what we've talked about is how can we look at the things we do as a church and the things that we offer and make sure that they're part of a coherent plan and that people understand that and that there's a guidance, there's a roadmap for people.
I would say that structured discipleship is not a program. If programs would get it done, then we had already won the world for the kingdom and it'd be over with. But structured discipleship is looking into the distance of where He wants to move us to, and then having a specific charted out way of getting there from point A to B to C to D in a way that is systematic and helpful and doable.